I've always struggled with energy levels, but this was just to a degree that was unmanageable. It was physically painful to be awake and get tasks done. My digestion was off, and I am a healthcare provider. I practice what I preach. I eat really, really well. I'm diligent, and sorry if this is a little too vulgar, but I was sipping water every day for a few months. It's not right.
Hey there, I'm Bria, and welcome to the Period Whisperer podcast. If you're over 35 and ready for real answers about your hormones, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe and stay with us. Hey there, sister. Welcome back to the Period Whisperer podcast. Today's conversation is especially close to my heart because I am joined by someone I know not only as a fellow practitioner, but also as a client and really just truly beautiful human being. My guest today is Emily Jacobson, a seasoned healer with more than 25 years of experience helping people regulate their nervous systems, ease pain, and reconnect with their body's innate wisdom. Emily began her journey in a massage therapy, went on to earn her Master's of Science in Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine, founded To the Point Acupuncture and Tai Chi, and now leads Healing Roots Wellness Center, a collaborative wellness space built around the belief that healing happens in community. And if you're watching us, you can see she is there right now with the most amazing mural behind her. So if you're not watching us, I recommend checking us out on YouTube because it is just breathtaking. What I love so much about Emily's work is that she doesn't just treat symptoms, she treats people. She works at that intersection of mind, body, spirit, and energy, weaving together Chinese medicine, nervous system support, women's health, and emotional healing in a way that feels both deeply grounded and profoundly compassionate. And I could get this sense from her every time we get a chance to work together. So today, Emily is actually sharing why she reached out to work with me in the first place, what wasn't adding up in her health despite all that she knew, what she discovered through our work together, and how she feels on the other side of that process now. And if you stay until the end, we have something exciting also to share with you. So let's dive in, and please help me welcome my amazing client and fellow practitioner, Emily, to the show. Welcome.
Hey there. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. It's so great to spend this time outside of our practice together.
Yeah, it's lovely to connect.
Yeah, and you have such an amazing practice, but tell us a little bit about your life, like your day to day. I think a lot of women are, very busy, and I like to just highlight kind of what your age, if you're open to it, and what life is like for you day to day.
Yeah, I am 47 years old. I am a mom of 2 kids. My 22-year-old daughter just moved back in with us. I am a wife of a hardworking man, and we are a great team at home, and I run a pretty darn big business. I have run multiple different businesses, but I was always a solo practitioner, which totally changed how business worked when I moved into working in with a lot of different people and having a whole entire wellness center. And so that is a very demanding experience. Um, Day to day, I treat people with acupuncture. I usually do around 8 treatments a day. I teach Tai Chi, I teach strength training, and I also do the facilitation of this whole center. I do have a team. Oh, I could not do it without a team. Um, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done with doing like the creative thinking part of things, the communicating, the interacting with people. I think probably one of the biggest demands, I mean, when I'm in session with people and it is person to person, there's just easy flow. I feel zero stress. I absolutely love my job. It's the communicating outside of those treatments that is a lot of demand. So I've calculated sometimes I have to communicate with in upwards of 20 different people throughout the day, and that's in like 12 different avenues of communication. And this is outside of my actual practice. And creating classes and creating programs here are it's a lot of work.
Like, you're a little busy, just a little bit busy, right? Just a little bit. And I remember when we first started working together, you were, like, traveling, I think, with one of your kiddos on, like, long trips because of their
Being a marching band mom, totally into the mom aspect of life, and my kid is a musician and way into marching band, and, yeah, it was like we met and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do all these really important things for my health and change my diet dramatically, travel and commit to all of this work as,
while I'm on a bus overnight any places. It was you did it well. I mean, you did it well, so
Well, and I think having grace with imperfection, like, trying to do things perfectly just isn't really actually an option because life is a lot, and so you helped me give grace, and then I was like, "Yes, I have grace with not being perfect."
that's fine. Yeah, I love that. I love that you kinda highlight that because I think that's one of the hardest things for us as women, isn't it? Just being like, it doesn't have to be perfect, and I can still make progress.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. As long as the effort's there, right?
Yeah, yeah, as long as we're I think mostly is a really good word. Mostly, like, that's enough. That's enough.
And my mom taught me at a young age there's good, better, and best, and sometimes there's the right time to shoot for best, and sometimes there's the right time to shoot for good, and sometimes, mostly, we should be shooting for better, right?
I love that. That's a beautiful sentiment from your mom. Good, better, best. Yeah, gonna bold that one. I'm gonna use that one going forward.
Good, good.
Uh,
Yeah, that's great.
So when we met, how had you been feeling? Like, what had been going on in your health when you reached out? What was kind of keeping you stuck or awake at night?
Yeah, I mean, literally awake at night. I was just being awake at night. That was
Uh-huh,
that
uh-huh.
was a thing.
Nodding. Yeah.
So fatigue. Oh, so much fatigue. And I have always had some fatigue in life. I've always struggled with energy levels. But this was just to a degree that was unmanageable. More than just needing a nap, but like it was painful. It was physically painful to be awake and get tasks done. And my task load wasn't smaller. It was what I had just described, and, so completing those tasks, it was physically painful. My digestion was off, and I am a healthcare provider, I practice what I preach, I eat really, really well, I'm diligent, I take herbs, like, I was doing a lot of things, and, I was sorry if this is a little too vulgar, but I was pooping water every day for a few months.
Oh, yeah.
It's not right.
I love that it's a few months. You're like, "For a few months," and then, I know you were working on it in the mean.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I was cutting this food out, I was cutting that food out, I was taking different herbs for this and that, trying to balance out my digestion, and nothing was working.
Yeah. Oh, that was so and I will say, I mean, you grow a lot of your own food. Like, I feel like you really do resource and care about the quality and type and balance of the nutrients that you put into your body.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think I can understand why that was frustrating. And as you had tried, as you said, you tried bitters, you tried your own digestive protocols, you'd tried all of these things and had any
Different food eliminations, uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. What had you eliminated?
For many years, I have, really been off of grains, all gluten, dairy, those are kind of the main things, and every now and then, like, bringing back a little bit of dairy, I I've never really brought gluten back into my life. I mean, maybe a moment here and there, but so yeah, just getting really a little more strict with those things. I uh, inflammatory foods, trying to eliminate those, which I generally speaking didn't eat them anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was confusing because I felt like I'm doing it, it should be working,
Yeah.
and it was.
It's such a reminder that, like, I mean, one of my very good friends is a therapist, and she's like, "I'm weary of therapists who don't have therapists." And I feel the same in a way, like, as practitioner, it's like, it is hard to see yourself within yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like it's fun that we can do a lot of different experimentation as because we have this different knowledge coming at us, but you still need guidance from other people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and different perspectives, and you have a total different training than I do, so I was treating myself with my training, and it just wasn't quite enough.
Wasn't probably what we needed. So
Yeah,
we
yeah,
met, we had a great conversation, I remember, and we kind of talked, about running some of these key functional labs, didn't we?
yeah, yep, yep.
Which
And I will say, one thing that I absolutely loved about starting to work with you is you had sent a video even before our first meeting, and you said, "If you are not in it to do the work, just cancel that call now." And I was like, "I am in it to do the work."
Oh, I love working with women like you, and most of my clients are where they're like, they're so compliant. And I just think,
We're ready. We're ready.
yeah, we're all ready. It's such an important piece. Had you run, so we went in, we did a GI map, and some kind of deeper functional blood work for you.
Yeah.
How did you find taking the labs?
I found the Dutch test to be dehydrating.
Yeah, most people say that. I can't drink a lot of water.
But, really excited to see the results of the Dutch test because I knew that my hormones just basically weren't there.
Yeah.
I could feel it all happening. I was excited to do the GI map and literally, like, see this takes the guesswork out of treating people, right? And to see what is off in that dysbiosis. I mean, I don't know anybody who doesn't have some bit of dysbiosis in their gut, but what is it? Like, how do you then work with that? And so this gave us just all the perfect they call it a GI map because it was a perfect map of what my guts are telling me. Um, and the blood work was fascinating to show how much inflammation was in my body.
For you, I mean, I think you had a lot of like this literally gut instinct of what was happening, which is, one of the most amazing parts about you knowing you now is how intuitive you are with your own body and how well you listen to it. So it was like you almost knew some of these things, but it really gave us that final, like maybe that validation for you of
Um,
like, okay, and then where do we go from here?
Specifics. I knew generals, but this was specifics, and that was exactly what I needed to actually take steps forward.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
'cause, we found obviously, as you mentioned, the inflammation, just like you said, your hormones were way low, but you had a lot of really good things in your Dutch, which was nice. I remember thinking like, "Oh my gosh, this is wonderful cortisol clearance." I never see like cortisol that looks like this. And it was so cool to see your adrenals in such a happy place considering everything else that was going on, but
yeah.
likely because of your lifestyle.
It matters. It really matters, and it takes a lot of work. I'm pretty diligent about keeping my mind at peace, I do a lot of tiny little details and really big details to make that difference. But that was a lovely confirmation of like, okay, this is very effective.
Yeah.
And I would say too that I all through that, I never felt like my mood was off. I didn't feel like I struggled to handle my mood. It was just my physical body that
Yeah.
was challenge.
Was reacting.
Yeah.
What do you think was the biggest, like, learning, out of the labs that you were surprised by or that was most helpful that moved the needle for you?
The low histamine diet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yep, that was a huge
GI
one.
map. That was our linchpin,
Yep.
wasn't it? It was like,
Yep.
"Here we go."
Yep, yep, for sure. I had heard of a low histamine diet, and once you said, "Emily, this seems like the path you should be taking," I mean, first of all, I had to grieve for like 3 days. I literally we got off our call, and I took a walk, and I cried. I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna be hard, and it's okay." I let myself have that grief moment, and it's a food list that doesn't have the same kind of logic of, like, glutens and dairies, just has a really I call it an illogical food list. They don't sync up except when you know what histamines are and that it's just in these foods, and I had an interesting moment, like, I don't know, a week and a half after that recommendation where I was stung by a bee and my arm blew up with a huge histamine response.
Yeah.
And it was this confirmation like, oh yeah, I do have an issue with histamine.
Needs to hit us over the head sometimes because bite
Yeah.
us in the arm.
Yeah, great, literally, and the beauty of that is that then it gave me a greater motivation. I mean, I already had motivation to follow through because I just wanna feel good inside my body, and that was a greater motivation to follow through with that part of it.
Yeah, I agree. It was so, for you, like we said, we saw that confirmation that your sex hormones were way low. But of course, before we, benefit from hormone replacement therapy, which, was definitely going to be an option for you, we got to clear, the liver gut, that liver gut path. And for you, yeah, that was what the GI map was really saying was that we just really needed to reduce histamines so that we could heal and seal this gut.
And what kind of surprised me, a new thought process. I mean, I've worked a lot with low inflammation in all kinds of aspects of my life, and I didn't think about this is a different path of inflammation in the body. It's a little less of a direct path of inflammation, but it is created an abundance of inflammation.
Yeah, and then it was wreaking havoc on every other aspect of your life, regardless of the fact that you had a lot of amazing habits, probably more than most people have regulated in their life.
On purpose, I have to practice what I preach and be a leader, and so I work really hard at that. And one of the parts of grief with that was the no tomatoes, and I had just done this massive tomato harvest from my yard. And that probably was one of the effects of why I was struggling so much because I was eating so many tomatoes.
Who thinks tomatoes are bad for you? Like obviously people don't like tomatoes. I appreciate that. But like, when do you ever logically think that a tomato is not good for you?
Right. Or an avocado.
Or leftovers. God, I love leftovers. I live off leftovers. So it's just
Yeah.
peace.
And I will say with that, the thing that cracked me up actually is that once I started, and I freeze my leftovers now, so I still live on leftovers. I just put them in individual serving sizes and put them in my freezer right after I've cooked the food, and so then I can thaw out my meal every day. And it's still just as quick. It's leftovers, but I like them better. I didn't realize how much I didn't like leftovers until I started freezing them, and now it's like a more delightful experience for me. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. Do you think do they actually taste differently to you?
Yeah.
I think it's fundamental your body recognizes it.
I mean, both. I think my body recognized it through disliking. I mean, turkey after Thanksgiving, no thanks. I just didn't make turkey for Thanksgiving because there's always so many leftovers, and I could not stand leftover turkey. Well, this year, I made a turkey and I froze all the leftovers, and it tasted just fine.
Oh my gosh. It's not wild. It's like such a reminder of the body keeps the score, right? And just that if you listen to what your body, its aversions like matter. They have land.
Yes. Yes. Yes, exactly. So that was quite eye-opening.
Yeah. So then we got all this information and yes, we had to drastically change your already beautiful diet to restrict the things that you never thought you'd have to restrict before, which was challenge.
Yeah.
And what did you notice? And again, I have to highlight like, and you were doing all these things at work, and you're just as busy as every other woman. And there were a few trips while we're navigating some of this. But what started happening first of all? What did you notice?
I almost immediately became a super duper pooper. It was great.
God, I love super duper pooping. Like I think everyone must poop and sleep. Like, these are
Yes.
I think the beginning.
God,
Like, if you're not pooping and sleeping, we can't do anything else. We have to poop and sleep.
I agree. And so that was an instant change. Like, oh, my body went, oh, thank you. And the inflammation went down. I still wasn't totally sleeping all that well, but that was the biggest change right away. And you had me on a bunch of different supplements too, which was kind of really interesting. Um, I have been taking herbs and supplements for a very long time, and once, we started working together, I started realizing how many of my supplements and herbs were actually just chasing symptoms and not treating the root. They were working to some extent, but they weren't enough because it wasn't treating the root. So I just had to really stay on all of these supplements, and you had me on a 3-month protocol, and it was 3 months, and that was it, and, I mean, there's, like, 2 things that I still take, from that protocol, and it was pretty I mean, I think I was probably taking 21 pills a day,
Gosh, that sounds awful. I'm sorry. But I hear that.
but it's a temporary moment, so it's totally worth it.
Yeah. And we were going after it hard. So I think, I always like to say, like, we don't have to go that much, but it's like, what pace can each person handle things? And you were
Yeah.
really good at going all in.
I was in it to win it.
To win it. I love that. So I know, I mean, that would really, like, I think, as you said, like the digestion really improved, the bloating really improved with that. I think I remember you saying some of your energy really kind of came back and got like,
Yeah, it started to. It was an upward slope for sure, but, and, like, I think I probably was functioning maybe at 40% when we first started working together, and then I knew, like, okay, diet work was doing good things. I could feel that I was absorbing nutrition, and I did forget to mention one of the other really important pain points that I had before coming to you was physical pain. I couldn't even exercise. I couldn't even do yoga. And when I did yoga, my body just had 0 recovery and I was in pain. I had to take ibuprofen to sleep. I was in so much pain. And so the energy levels started coming back up with getting nutrition in my body, like where I was actually absorbing things.
yeah,
Um, but the pain was not quite changing yet at this point. So, and then we knew at that point, like, there's more. Let's go. Let's keep doing
yeah.
things. That's when we did hormone replacement therapy.
That's where we moved on. We knew once we knew that gut could handle the hormones and I think your liver had always been your phase 1 had always been pretty good, but if it was backed up, it was only because of what was going on in the gut. So they cleared that and then yeah, we started in on some hormones and how did that support you?
Oh, it was just like, I've been craving this. I remember walking through my house at one point. I was 70 days without a cycle and walking through my house with my shoulders slumped and saying to my husband, I just want hormones in my body. So feeling so desperate. And I knew that the path had to go the way that it was of get the gut health in order before we could do this. And so then, yeah, when we did, it was like this instant relief, and energy levels continued to creep up. Muscle pain started to go away. It was still there, but it wasn't as intense. And I feel like at that point, I kind of hit like a 67% of functioning, which I was like, this is great, and it's not good enough.
Yeah. This is always our problem. It's like, can I feel better as a practitioner? What happens if I do this?
Yeah, yeah. And I am happy to have my body be an experiment.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's the best way that I've learned as a practitioner is through my own body, and I can treat people even better because I have had challenges and I've dove into my own body, then I can work with people a little more easily and have a little empathy too when they have a sensitive body.
Yeah, because it is, yeah, person to person, there are some people who are very sensitive and others who are not at all. I tend to be one of those, unfortunately, where I'm like, no, all of these things and let's see what happens. Gotta happen. Yeah, I get that. So we sorted the gut, we sorted out your low hormones, and then we decided to play a little bit with some peptides, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah. That was really relieving too, and I was genuinely hesitant about that, not because of I didn't want to, but because of stigma out in the world, and I had to grapple with that, part of my ego of, like, "What are people gonna think?"
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I
um,
wish I didn't have that. Like it feels like a genetic like fault inside of us, like to care about what other people think, about things that feel right for us.
Right, right. And I wish that we didn't have this about peptide therapy, because and it's so with that said, the way that I processed it was then okay, then it's my job to go educate people.
Yeah.
And as I tell people that I'm doing this work, then I can tell them what this is, that these are proteins that are communicators. Um And with GLP-1s, they talk about how it's like a weight loss medication. Sure, maybe it has this side effect, but it's really just a promoter of communication in the body,
Mm.
you know? And so I feel like it was an opportunity to then just start educating people.
Yeah, I love that. And so then when we kind of pulled that lever, what did you notice in your body?
Instantly, the pain was gone. Instantly. First injection, the pain was gone, and I was so grateful. I kept fiddling around with, "Okay, I'm gonna try some yoga, maybe I'll do some strength training." I teach a strength training class, and I couldn't even do my class. I had to practice speaking the class out for people instead of doing it, which had an advantage. I could walk around and make adjustments with people's forms,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I wanna do it, I wanna do the work with people, so I was able to get back to strength training, and I had recovery. I didn't have to take ibuprofen to help with and ibuprofen wasn't helping with recovery, it was masking the fact I wasn't recovering, um, I was very successful instantly.
That's amazing. I mean, that's just that inflammatory response, that cool down this inflammation with just a very tiny dose, which I think is, again, the beauty. Like you said, it's like we were able to repair that communication, and all of a sudden we got like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do in my body.
Right.
I hate to recall you saying your energy shot up as well.
Yep. Yep, for sure, and that's where I think I went up to 85 to 90% of functioning, and that was like, "Ah, tasks are easy, I can do them." Which is what I absolutely need to do to be able to thrive in my business, and I definitely could see that stagnation was there for business, like, I was getting through, but, when you have a business, especially a big one that the community is relying on, you have to keep growing in business. You have to, like, keep expanding and keep doing the work, not just barely getting by, and so I was just barely getting by, and now I feel like I can, like, move into thriving.
I'm so happy, and it's because you did the work, and one thing that you are, and maybe I'd love for you to share this, is how do you navigate like, we worked together for 6 months, like, it's not a short time period.
No.
Look, we're in our 40s, time goes fast, it really, really does. Either way, it does go quickly, but when you think that you're looking down the hallway of, like, 6 months of dedication to your health, it can feel like a bit of a drain bow. Like, how do you navigate
A good word.
I'll credit my sister for that. She made that well, I think she made that word up, and we always are like, "Oh, that person's such a drainbow." Or this situation is such a it's like sucks the life out of you. How do you, navigate the ups and downs, and like sometimes it can feel like, "Oh, the needle's not moving," and whoop, there it moves. How do you handle that?
First, we talked about what you just said, like, we worked together for 6 months, like, and that was a big commitment, right? And I have to share another momism. My mom has been such an insight of wisdom for me my whole life. So, when I went to acupuncture school, it was a 6-year-long process, and she said to me, "Emily, these 6 years are gonna go by no matter what. You might as well do something good with it." And so same for this, like, this 6
Yep, drop
months.
it. Truth bomb. Sorry, sorry. Go, go. That's me.
And I'm so grateful to have such a good relationship with my mom that I can take her information in because moms are always filled with wisdom.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, we are. Thank you very much. Whether you want it or not.
Right, and children, even adult children, often don't wanna take it, but I have such a good relationship with my mom that I just, like, I I totally eat up all of her wisdom. So, with that, yeah, like, I have that same thing in mind, like, I know this is gonna be a long process, but I know on the other side of it, it's gonna be such a short time period, I mean, 6 months of my 47 years is just a second,
Yeah.
and worth it, and so worth it because now on the other side of it, like, I am thriving and it's amazing. It's relieving. It's not just amazing, it's relieving.
Yeah. It is a relief, isn't it? I think that's one of the biggest things because like you said, even in a career that you love and gives you purpose, it starts to get a little sad when you're like, I don't even wanna, you know? You're like, I don't have the energy. It just feels like such an effort. And then that really like kind of flywheels into or snowballs into, not a path we want to be on in our mental state.
Right. Right, for sure. It can become depressing.
Yeah.
and then we're in a vicious cycle, and I would rather live my life in a virtuous cycle.
Yeah, I love that.
Mhm.
You're such a light. I love that, so I'm so glad that you're feeling now and can shed that light everywhere and not feel like a drainbow yourself. I think oh, sometimes I'm like, "I'm the drainbow," you know? You have these moments, "Oh, I don't wanna be the drainbow. I'm gonna go hide away in my bedroom." What would you like to say? Like, what do you really wanna say to the women listening right now if you could share one key thing?
I think that there is so much value in never giving up. There even if the thing that you have tried isn't the answer, there is an answer. You just have to keep the effort going, find the right connection points, find the right support factors. And we have I know I have a tendency that I always want to make the best decision I can make. And it can actually cause some analysis paralysis, where, like, you get stuck and you don't even make the decisions, and so sometimes just, like, taking a step, even if it isn't the best decision you can make, taking a step and then another step, because it always will lead you to another thing, and keeping those doors open and that effort there, and never give up. I totally live my life by that.
Yeah, and you're great at that. And now, I mean, you have such a beautiful practice, and we've been, talking about these things as well. I have to ask you to talk a bit about, I think something that is we should open up to the listeners for, especially anyone who lives in your area or anyone who wants to travel. Tell them about what you've created, for women through your practice.
So I did do some perimenopause training myself. And I was actually, when I first started listening to your podcast, you were hosting a perimenopause retreat. And it was right when I was about to jump into being this big marching band role. And I was like, well, I can't attend her perimenopause retreat, but hot damn, I can make one. So I have made my own perimenopause retreat. I am teaming up with a therapist, and we're going to focus a lot on diet and the nervous system and what hormone health looks like, and just really be a source of education for women and a connection point. I think that we need to know that we're not alone. The more that we talk about this and bring it to light that we're having our own struggles and connect with other people who are struggling. We can be motivators, we can be commiserators. Sometimes we just need the commiserators.
Sometimes we need the commiserator.
Yes. So yeah, on May 16th, we have a day-long perimenopause retreat. We're gonna do a bunch of movement, and we're gonna feed you well, and do some education, and a lot of deep connecting.
Oh, and where is it? Where are we located? Because I think, a day retreat, we probably want people who are coming in who are close by. I mean, anyone's welcome, but
Yeah. So I'm in Western Wisconsin. It's River Falls, Wisconsin, which is right on the border of Wisconsin and Minnesota. So I am just outside of the Twin Cities metro area. And It's a sweet little tiny town that has so much art and community. We've got a university here, and it just brings a lot of culture, and it's all here in my little wellness center. We spend the day together doing yoga and some strength training and just some good education on what is going on inside our bodies as we hit this transitional state.
I love that, and I'm so excited about it for you, and I know, so for anyone listening who is certainly in the Midwest, the Twin Cities, Wisconsin, anywhere in that area, I mean, and anywhere that you wanna come from, but I'm going to put the link for Emily's retreat in the show notes. Please check it out. It's gonna be a beautiful day, and if you haven't already gathered, Emily has some of the most amazing, special, beautiful, calming energy, so I know at the very least you will walk away feeling like you're more of a rainbow and less of a drainbow, right? And get some really good tools walking away. So, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for doing that, for showing up for
Mm.
the work that you do. And I have learned so much from you, even in our work together, which has been one of the coolest things. Because, as you said, we come from different trainings, so it's really wonderful to expand how you see things.
And I love the mutuality, I mean, where none of us is better than the other. We just bring different things to the table, and, it's such a beautiful thing to connect with people and feel supported, and I appreciate your work. Holy cow!
Thank you.
I'm so grateful. I have done so many things. Like I said, you have talked about the supplement graveyard. I mean, my countertop was full of supplements, and now it's not.
Oh, yay! We worked through the supplements. There's no more graveyard. I love that.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't have to live on them. I mean, obviously I have to live on some, but I don't have to live on as many as I was before meeting you, and, what a relief, because that in itself is a lot of work.
So much work, so much thinking of like and alarms sometimes of like, when am I going to take this? And do I need to take it with food? And should it be on an empty stomach? And if it's an empty stomach, when am I going to take it? Like also many questions that we ask.
Can I overlap this with that? And yeah,
And
yeah.
is this even working? And
Is this even working? My husband has asked me that so many times. Do you really need to be on all of those things?
yeah, I remember.
I don't know what's working for you.
Yeah, I know. And that's part of the journey, right? We gentle things in when we know, but I'm like you, I really feel like there's maintenance, support based on where we live and what our life is like. And then there's like a very focused correction. So then we should know it's working.
Yeah.
Emily, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so glad you came into my life. Thank you so much for being on the show today. And I'm very excited for your retreat, May 6th. Yeah, it's gonna be wonderful. I can't wait to, hear all about it. And again, for everyone listening, please go get into so Emily, besides the retreat, if we can't see the retreat, if you can't come to the retreat, if you can, the links in the show notes, where do you like people to come to get into your world? If they want to learn more from you, if they want to come see you.
Yeah. So we do have a Facebook page and we have an Instagram page. And me personally, in my own personal practice, I don't do much for social media. That's more of the studio. At the Wellness Center, we have a clinic and the studio. So I've got both aspects of the wellness center. And so because my work is so hands-on, I none of my work is virtual. I mean, I've thought about how in the world could I do long distance acupuncture.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think that that's possible. So, unfortunately, that is a location issue, so if you're in the area and you feel like you need some good support with acupuncture and herbal medicine, and really, I'm working with trying to get women to work with you too, Bria, because there's so much that I can't do, and it just takes the right person who's ready to go in and do that work. Yeah, coming in and getting some work done, or coming to do some yoga or tai chi. We even host dance parties here. There's all kind.
Oh, I want to come to a jam party. I'm coming to the Midwest. That's it. It's done. I did live there for a while, so I
Really close, actually, really close by. Yeah.
really close. Amazing. Well, thank you so much. We will put all the links in the show notes. Emily, again, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you. Me too. You too.
All right, sisters. Now I think you have, more inspiration, more guidance, and even a retreat as an opportunity to go to should it fit in your life, to be more in your life and not just less on a scale. We'll catch you in the next episode.
If you're 35 plus and ready to stop guessing, start understanding your hormones, and feel your absolute best, hit subscribe. That's what we do here.